Okay, so everything's new. There's so much new. Quick recap. If you don't know, we were originally Street Cats. We're now Soul Corp. Big changes. I'll make a video explaining that. Oh, I'm out of breath already. Okay, so we've got so many new things that's happened in the past 12 months. Like I said, I'll give a recap, but this might look like I've made progress. I've actually gone backwards. So this is S13 vert. Sadly, it is a vert. I don't like verts. You can argue about that, but I got a really good deal on this. So it's got 5 lug swap. Don't worry, it didn't come with these wheels. I bought these. Upgraded front sway bar. Obviously the big Nissan calipers. It's half caged, which is like mediocre job on the welds, but it's enough for what I need. It does have a hydro that's broken, but we'll fix that. This is really cool. Oh, as I kick all the boxes. GTR wing, R32 GTR wing, which is really cool. Uncracked dash. Yeah, actually, excuse me, I'm really bad. I'm really bad with filming. So these are from old projects in the past, like my Civics and stuff like that, if you were around for those times. So this front clip, the doors, headlights, bumper, that's all from Mac's original 240. If you didn't know, she had a 240 for many years. It was like rotten, like super rotten, which is a shame. She loved that car, so as an apology for her having a bad car, I'm building this car for the both of us. Simple seat time car, just have fun at the track, whether it's drifting or just track days or whatever. Has these over fenders, which don't fit too bad, but I got to change all the hardware, like whoever installed them previously didn't do that great of a job. I have skirts, I have a rear bumper section. Yeah, obviously we got reps on the rear. Drifting, you don't want to really break your rear wheels because I'm too poor for that. Today the plan is to pull the rest of the interior wiring. So when I bought this shell, it had really bad wiring in it from whoever built it originally. I'm going to simplify all that. I'm going to build all my own harnesses. Going to run all my own setup for it. Little fuse box. We got like weird little things to change too. Like it's still got a brake pedal from an automatic, which I'm assuming this car was originally. I'd like to try and do the floor mod on the car because the cage is actually really far forward for an S13. Usually they sit a little bit further back. The problem with that is I can't sit far enough back for me with the pedals. So I'm thinking if I can get the floor down a little bit, then I might be able to fit a bit better. But the game plan is not to spend too much time on this chassis. Like it's been tubbed in the front already, which I don't love the way that's been done. I'd like to do it my own way and better. So the plan is to just get the wiring done, the engine setup that I plan on running set up. We got lots of cool stuff going into this car. Like I don't know how well you're going to be able to see, but this is like an old school Defi ZD advanced system cluster. I really want to try and get that working with it. I got that with the car. Yeah, there's just a lot of tedious stuff to do, like power steering. I haven't quite figured out what I want to run yet, whether I'm gonna use an electric pump or electric rack, or try and figure out something with the engine setup that I plan on running. So it's all very here and there. I'm gonna try my best to do the best I can with filming. Really bad with it. If Ray is around, he's probably gonna help out, but no promises there. Or even Cole. Cole said he'd help too, so you'll meet all the family again. We've got new members now. Members of the family. That's what I mean. We're not a cult. You can say we're a cult if you want. I don't really care. So yeah, I guess we'll do a time lapse. Hopefully that filmed properly. So I just did all the harness through into the front. So this is all for the headlights and the indicators and the horns. These work, but like I don't love them. So I actually have in my mess here somewhere, I have Deutsch connectors. We use these at work. A lot of people use them for motorsport stuff. I like the way they look. I've never really used them too much. Typically at work we use like WP connectors for like fans, because they need a larger gauge wire, because you're running quite a bit of amperage through them. Oh man, I keep getting out of breath. So yeah, I'm not too worried about these connectors for the lights, but I'm just going to keep them just so I know how they're wired up using wiring diagrams, because I'd like to try and keep the motors and everything. So if I ever have an incident or an issue or a motor failure, I can just swap out the motor and repin the connector. So yeah, we'll pull this through and then we'll get started on the inside. Sorry, the camera died, and it's probably going to die again. So I didn't film me getting the back section out, but you kind of get the idea of what was going on. Man, this must be like at least 50 pounds of wiring. Like, it's dense. And a lot of it I didn't need. We just kind of rerouted it through the car just so we could get the car running. And I didn't love that. So the plan now is to kind of find all the things that I might need. So wiper stalks, indicator stalk, key cylinder, the door harnesses, taillight harnesses, front headlight harnesses, kind of cut them up and plug them in. So I have an idea of where all that goes, and then I can kind of plan my wiring through there. So I'd like to try and keep the door locks. I got to figure out which relay module it is. And same with the wiper, not the wipers, well, the wipers, yeah, we need the wipers. But the window motors, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I'm kind of on a time crunch today. I gotta take the wife out on a date. I don't have to, but I want to. It's our anniversary today, so yeah. I'm gonna try and film as much as I can, but might roll into the next few days. Well, the next week or so. I'm aiming for like weekly uploads, but we'll see how much content I can get done. Ordering parts is expensive. I'm on a tight budget. So just been doing a little bit of the wiring on the front, changing the connectors out. I think this is a really important step for Nissans, especially from the 90s. Anyone's played with the old connectors, they're kind of a nightmare. Like, I can't even get them apart. Like that's down, and it's such a fight to get them out. So I swapped them with Deutsch connectors, which these are brand new, so they're a little bit sticky, but way better quality, way nicer. They look a lot cleaner too. Done my headlight loom. This is for the motor as well. So this is 5-pin, 3, and they'll run along the frame rail up into one of these holes. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. It's kind of a long, tedious process. I might time-lapse some of it, but you'll kind of see what I'm doing as I go along, and I'll explain some stuff and what I figure out. I still got a plan on how I'm going to run the motors to pop the headlights up. I've been looking at wiring diagrams. I've been playing with this guy quite a bit lately rather than the actual headlights, but I just want to get the loom started. So I have somewhere to play with, so I can just use a 12-volt probe and kind of interact with the headlights. I've just left the normal Nissan connectors on, which are way deep in there for the indicators for now. I think it'll be okay, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Obviously, the horns just have these little tabs, so I'll probably run a wire along down here, and then it'll come up in here, and it'll run along the frame rail. The aim is to have it very tucked and tidy, but not like completely tucked, which is kind of a nightmare. It'd be nice to be at track or wherever I am if I have an issue and I can diagnose quite easily. I do like tucked and flush engine bays, but sometimes they're a little bit much and make things awkward and difficult to work on, so that's the plan. So back in the shop, I have been wiring the taillights. Just an easy thing that I can do right now. I'm still working on the wiring diagrams for all the more complicated stuff. So like everything that's within the steering column, the headlight motors, they're very difficult to try and figure out. So yeah, just for now, I figured I'd do something that I've done before on this car, which is wire the taillights. It's pretty simple. Biggest problem is you've got to go from the passenger footwell all the way to the trunk. But I don't know how well you can see. Let's see what I can do here. So I have probably not the best setup for testing power, but I do have a fused power wire on the battery, and then my negative is there. So we are going to test. This is tail lights. Yeah, so I got one burnt out bulb, but when my tail lights are on, I even have my plate lights, which I've made new ones because I didn't have the originals. This one is reverse. No, sorry. That's brake lights. Definitely have a burnt out bulb. This is reverse, which I'm missing one wire on, which is great. And that's my indicator. Wait, hold on. No, that's left signal. I have the wrong bulb in some of these. Or I'm looking at it upside down. I was trying to test this in the back of the car. I'm gonna test this in the back of the car and I'll get back to you. But what I wanted to show you was how I do some of these loops. So I usually package stuff in individually, so the taillights will be individual for anything else that goes in the trunk. So that includes, that's it in the trunk. So you got the lights and the fuel pump for this car anyway. So I'll have a separate harness for the fuel pump, obviously, because it's gonna have to run a different system. I like to always run fuel pumps on their own relay. Just makes things a lot better, gives them a dedicated power source. But I like to zip tie my harness together. You'll see lots of people tape their harness together. Zip ties are easier, they're cheaper, they don't get sticky, they're not a pain in the ass to take away. Like if you want to take off a zip tie, you just clip it and it's gone. Whereas if you tape it, you've got to unwind it, blah, blah, blah. And I keep these zip ties on like all the way through, like right up until it's completed. Even when it's completed, when I put the loom wrap on, which I have some over here in this pile, oh my god, I just made a mess of it. So this is loom wrap. So this is the loom wrap. It just wraps around the loom and it stays like intact. Like it will stay this shape and it will expand and contract depending on how your harness is set up and how thick it is. But even when I run my harness through this, I'll keep the zip ties on it even then. It helps out with diagnosis. So if you're running several wires that are the same color, you can at least depict which harness it is. So for the taillights, I have, I believe, 5 wires. So I know the loom with 5 wires will be my taillight loom to the trunk. Obviously, you'll have scenarios where you have 5 wires for multiple harnesses, so 5 for this thing and 5 for that. But it'll give you a better idea of which 5 you're picking at rather than having 10 wires that you're not sure. That's just kind of like how I like to do it quickly. Obviously, there's a lot better ways you can do harnesses. This works. It's fine for what I do. I've never had issues with it. It's just kind of my way of doing it. So, but I'm gonna take a step back for 5 minutes because I've just been going hard at this for like the last hour. Kind of figure out where I went wrong. It happens. You go wrong. You make mistakes. Better do it now. Do all your testing, and then when you actually finalize everything, you know it works. I'm also dealing with a harness that's been butchered like 5 times from 5 different people. So, okay, so spent like 5 minutes trying to figure this out after I had a 5-minute breather. I just had 2 wires backwards, which is just easy fix, just depin and repin. So put the battery in the trunk. Again, we're gonna do this somewhat sketchy way. Don't worry, it's fused. So we have 1 burnt out bulb. That's what was screwing me up. I forgot that it was burnt out, but it's burnt out, which is the inside left-hand brake light. So this is tail lights. So you can see, I don't know if you can see the plate lights inside, but that's all lit. And then this one is brake lights. So you can see the bulb that's out. This is right indicator, left indicator, and reverse lights. Pretty simple. Lights are probably one of the best things to wire if you're learning because it's easy to see whether they're on or not. When you get to the stalk for it, it gets a little bit more complicated, but it's not too bad. So that is taillights wired up. Obviously, well, wired up to the point where they're in the trunk and the harness is ready to be wired to the fuse box, which I'm still planning. I don't know if I've mentioned that. I'm sorry, I'm incredibly tired. So yeah, that is it for this week. Sorry I didn't do more with the car. It's been kind of like the last week of the season. If you guys have like a winter season that comes in, you'll understand that, you know, everybody wants to go out like last few times, like desperate. That's kind of what it was for us. I was dedicated on putting the curler away this weekend, so I wasn't taking up too much of Gary's time. So that's put away, sadly, until late spring when I have time to get to it. But next week, we'll continue wiring the 240 body, so the chassis. We're just keeping simple things, like there's going to be a deck. I'm going to keep HVAC, no AC. Obviously the headlights, indicators, window motors, I'm actually going to wire just, it's kind of a nice novelty. It's not often you get late 80s, early 90s car with window motors. What else have I got to figure out? There's some things that are going to come later on. Obviously, I still got to buy the ECU, which is relatively simple to wire as far as like from the fuse block. You just need a 12 volt and 12 volt to the ECU. And then obviously you got some auxiliaries and stuff, but I'm not too worried. So after next week, the week after, hopefully I can reveal the engine setup that we're planning on doing. I'm really excited. It's something a little bit different. It's been done before. It's not a very common swap, but I don't have SR money. I love SRs. I think SRs are cool. They don't meet the goals that I want to have. And also, I can obtain one relatively easy, but it's the cost of it, which is kind of the detrimental fact of running an SR. Everybody who owns an SR knows how bad they are for money. Anyway, I'm going to stop blabbing, and I will see you guys next week.